The
Elitist
Pizza
podcast.
I'm-
Welcome to the Elitist Pizza Podcast, featuring Kawan and Dandy. Today, we're doing the Mummy Man review, the Mummy 1932.
Man,
Rating scores features 1 to 8 slices. The highest is 8. Lowest can be no pizzas. Meaning the box is empty, it sucks.
yeah, they just gave you an empty box, and you still paid for it.
Yeah. And now the Dino Man's coming to reap his soul. Your life.
All right. So initial thoughts. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I know I'm gonna upset some people, and they're like, "Oh, you're uncultured. This movie isn't for you, bro." I don't care. This one was kind of boring. This movie is kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, there's some really cool stuff in there, but for the most part, it's pretty boring. And slow.
Yeah. I think it's because the fact that there was majority of the time you just watch people fidget with things and there's no sound, no ambient music, and they're like opening the crypt of the mummy, no sounds at all. They're like, "Oh look, there's a dead guy.
Yeah,
Yes, we
exactly.
found dead guy number 9, and now we're looking through all this stuff. Oh no, watch out, it's cursed." And then there's no sound. They're just standing there quietly staring at the cursed.
Yeah, there's multiple moments in this film where it's like, for like 3 minutes straight, it's dead silent. And we were watching the movie together, and that's we understand it was in 1932, so they didn't understand exactly what audiences would want with films where people are actually talking. But that it was so weird, it was so jarring because it was like half the movie there was no sound at all when nobody was talking. Then the other
Yeah.
half they were playing music, so it was like I get they were experimenting and stuff and trying to figure out what works, but I'd say if you're gonna pick one, pick one. Do the music because it's so weird. What if we were doing the podcast like this? That that joke would be boring. Now imagine that for 3 minutes at a time.
No, they had one that was like 5 minutes. The guy just looking at a paper like, oh.
They told me it was cursed, but I think I'm still gonna read it.
I somehow can read Egyptian. Ugan, Tugan, Bugan. And then like the mom's like, oh, I'm alive now. And then he sees him walking. He goes, he starts laughing out of nowhere. I'm like, yo, why is he so animated? He's
That
like,
that part, I thought he was crying. So let's backtrack a little bit. So we start the film. Uh, I'm gonna keep it like 1,000 with you. I can't even remember how to say the mummy guy's name. We just call him Mummy Man. They find the Mummy Man's tomb. All right. So you got your three old white dudes. You got Joseph, Wemple, Ralph Norton, and Dr. Muller. He was studying. They're studying the tomb, looking around. Like, yes, I found this box, and they're chilling. They find the mummy, and so everything's all good. They're like, yeah, we're gonna take it back and eat it, because they used to do that. They used to eat mummies and stuff and dead stuff because they thought it'd give them bigger boners or something. At least that's what I was told. Anyway, so they obviously they're all right. Their race has nothing to do with it, but they're movie characters. They're stupid, and they grab the box and they're like, "I want to open this box." And Dr. Muller was like, "Hey, you can't do that. I know about the dark arts. You're gonna open this, and the curse is gonna be lifted, and bad stuff's gonna happen. So how about you just don't do that?" And then what was it? It was Ralph, the younger one, I believe was Ralph. He was like, he was like, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And then the old guy was like, "You cannot stop me." He literally says, "I respect your knowledge in the occult, but you can't stop me from pursuing science." So if I was Dr. Muller, I just would have been like, "Okay, well, I can't stop him, right?" And so him and the other old dude go in and uh, freak off. I'm not gonna cuss.
Yeah.
They go mess off. They go mess off. Mess about. They go somewhere else for like 2 seconds. This is one of the parts where it's dead silent. So the guy gets the paper and he's like,
Yeah, reading that stuff so hard. reads it out loud. Then I don't know how. Like, did they ever like tell him like explain how he knew like perfect Egyptian and knew how to read, or the fact that he somehow knew to like what did he do? He did this ink thing where he like rubbed ink on it and he like did this, patted it
Yeah,
on
well,
the thing to get the shape.
yeah, he did something like that. I wish I would have explained it, but it
Nah,
was just dead silent. So he could have been thinking out loud or something or narrated it,
yeah,
but
they could have had like a voice of his inner thoughts talking, and it would have been like, oh, haha, lucky I learned this technique from my grandfather. Oh yes, it says these nuts, like something, you know. But no, they didn't do anything. He was just sitting there in silence, doing stuff. Reads out loud, and somehow that resurrects the. It's so weird. The mummy literally wakes up like a middle aged man, or like an elder man, just like waking up. Oh, oh, my nup's over. Like it didn't look scary. Like you hear bones cracking, and he's like,
yeah, because his bones would be cracking because he's got all the bubbles formed in there that haven't been popped in over like thousands of years. So he just would have been like, and then he just stands over the Ralph dude like all menacing, and then he's just looking at him, and then the Ralph dude's like, no, this cannot be. And then as soon as the mummy leaves, Ralph is just like,
he starts laughing crazy, yeah. And he doesn't even laugh normal. He's like, like blank face, standing in the corner of the room. And then what it looks like, he was crying like a little baby. But then you notice within the end, he's like, ha ha ha, ha, like he's actually taking breaths in.
yeah,
So like that's when you realize it was laughing, not crying. I thought he was crying like a little girl, like, hey, the bunny got up. Nah, he was laughing really loud.
right, exactly. I remember we were watching it, and I was like, yo, is he laughing or crying? And you were like, I don't know. Um, but yeah, man, my man started laughing, and then they were like, "What happened?" And then he gives like such a goofy answer, which I think is good for what they're trying to portray him, his mind snapping. He was like, "It just got up and walked away," and they're like, "What? He must be crazy." So then, so then we just do like a time skip. Which, by the way, I didn't find out this is 10 years in the future until like later, maybe 10 years or it was a couple years in the future, but we find this. It starts with this old dude, right? The old dude is very obviously the mummy, right? Like we're not stupid. We I mean I think they weren't trying to trick us, but like right, like that dude is very. What was his name? Bay, Ardith Bay. That's right. It's very obvious that Ardith Bay was the mummy, right? Like they didn't do that much to try to hide it, which I think was intentional, and I hope it was. 1932. I give him leeway for that. But then they find the tomb of the princess, and Ardith Bay is like, he's acting all strange, like I'm like something's up with this dude. He's bad to
He's
be.
like,
He's an necrophiliac or something. He's like, yeah, that princess.
yeah.
He's doing the little.
Yeah, he's doing that. He's like,
He's like
that's
she.
so.
He like she.
Um,
She looking. Girl, you looking bad.
mm.
Girl, looking like you look 1,000 years younger. I see you.
and then and then I hear the fact that like the old man's like, oh yes, I should do whatever was it showcase in your honor or something because you helped me find the mummy. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? This guy didn't find. He is the money, the mummy, bro.
Right.
Well, he is the money too, but like,
Yeah, he's both the mummy and the money.
yeah, he's the mummy money.
But they have this little ball where we find Helen, and she
So
and the mummy dude, Ardith. He discovers that she kind of looks like. Uh, I'm not even gonna try to say this name. She looks like the princess. All right, she looks like mummy woman. And he's like, oh shoot, girl. Ha 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 ha. She. I'm not doing
he's
that.
like, ah, ha, ha, read curse out loud.
Yeah, so
Hypnotize.
he sneaks back into the museum. This is the part you were talking about. He sneaks back into the museum and he
Yeah,
starts reading his little script. Moo moo moo, mummy mummy mummy, shake shake shake, and they the security guard breaks in. He's like he opens it up. He's
oh
like,
well.
yo, what is you doing?
That was so stupid. He had a flashlight. He was like,
Bro,
stop! What are you doing? Stop!
that whole scene was so bad. He's like,
It's like,
stop that right now. Stop that right now. And it's like, bro, oh my god, this is the funny. All right, I'm gonna have to put this clip. This video might get taken down, but I have to put this clip in the movie in this video. But the guy, he literally, oh, the security guy's like, stop right now, and turns on the lights, right, with the flashlight in hand, and then Ardith Bay, his old, a million years old self, 7'11", looking like he need to go help out. Man, my man needs to go to Milwaukee and help out Giannis in the finals right now. My man's like 7'11". He needs to. If he don't get in the NBA right now, that dude is huge. My man's just worrying about the wrong wraps. He need to wrap his ankles after playing basketball. But anyway, this dude is mad slow and mad old. As like 7'11", so you can't lose him. And he turns off the lights, and the dude is following him with the flashlight like this. And then Artist Bay's like, and
He just walks out.
he just
Yes.
walks to like the shadow. But I think it was cool. It was a cool way to use the black and white imagery because like it looks cool because it's like he gets into the shadows and since it's black and white, it's like really dark. Like you can't like we can't even see that guy. But
Yeah.
it's like I kind of if I was the security guard, I mean, there's no way. I know you're right there. You started walking this way. I'm just gonna turn my flashlight faster that way. I know you're right there, and he's like seven. Like I said, he's like 7'11". There's no, and he's old. There's no way. There's no way he's hiding behind anything. Because if he tries to, he's either too tall or his old million-year-old crusty bones are gonna start cracking, snap, crackle, pop, like some dang Rice Krispie treats when he tries to kneel down, and I'm gonna hear him. It's going out pop, pop, and then I'm be like, oh, you're right over there, Artie. Get your old self up. And then
And
so
then,
he kills that guy somehow.
dude, I hate when they show the museum owner's son, and then the girl that's related to the princess or something, and then he automatically falls in love with her and gets. I just get stalker vibes. Dude,
He's
they're like, "Ugh."
right. Okay, okay. This was 1932, but my gosh, man, this dude was rapey with a capital rape. Like this dude was just weird. So first, Ardith Bay is using his mummy powers to compel her to come to him. So she's like, "Yes, I must go now. I know exactly where to go to the museum." This dude, uh, I wanna say his name is David or something, but I think that's the actor's name. Um, ugh. Oh, Frank. Frank is his name. So
Yeah.
Frank finds her, probably because he was following her and stalking her. He finds her collapsed at the museum and he picks her up and takes her to his house because that's a normal thing to do. And he's like, "No, woman, you are a woman. I'm a man. I'm gonna tell you what to do. You cannot leave my presence because I'm a man and I know what's best for you. Just sit there and lie down. Don't worry about it. Don't call for help. I am a man. You are a woman. I'll tell you what to do." And but he's like mad. He's like looking at her all hard, and he's like in love with her and stuff. And she's just like, "Man, how did I get here? How did I? What happened?" And he's like, "I don't know. You tell me." And she's like, "I wish I knew." And then she was whispering some Egyptian stuff, and his dad was like, "Oh no, that sounds bad." And he talks to the other old dude that comes to pick her up, and he's like, "Oh shoot, bro, she might be cursed or something." And then, correct me if I'm wrong, after they talk about her being cursed, they come back and Frank is making out with her.
Oh my god.
Right? He's sitting there making out with her for after having meeting her for like 5 minutes. And to be honest, he probably that I don't remember if they showed how it started, but he probably initiated it. He probably didn't ask. He probably just started making out with her because he's like a rapist or something. All right, I'm gonna stop. But like, yo, you cannot do that in 2021. Don't even try it. Don't try that.
What else? I think when they all started grouping together after that weird scene, they all started hanging out and they're like, "Oh, this is the scroll. They're all after the scroll here. I don't know why." And then the guy that's like who knows about the dark arts, he's like, "Ugh, we need to destroy it. It's the root of all evil. That's why it's influencing the girl. That's why there's this guy breaking in for it. We should just burn it now before you're cursed. Your son's already affected by it. He's falling in love with a random woman." And then the guy's like blah blah blah, science this, science that. I don't believe in the curse. And then they leave, and then the guy with the dark arts guy sneaks in the room, and then like tries to burn the weird scroll that's huge as hell. It's like this big, and tries to burn it, and then it pans off to the mummy. The mummy's doing weird magic, some weird place, probably in the museum or something. And then he's over there like, he's going like dark arts power activating. His eyes are glowing, and then he's like doing some weird voodoo magic. And the guy's burning, about to burn the paper. Right, the fire's like right beside the scroll. He's about to drop it in there, and then he suddenly has a heart attack from the mummy powers, the power of the mummy crushing his heart. He's having a heart attack there. Drops the paper.
Right. And then Ardith comes, and then Ardith Bay shows up to their house because I think the mummy abilities told him where the scroll was, and he was like, yeah, basically he was like, he just laid out his master plan anyway. He was like, all right, guys,
Yeah.
you got me. I am the mummy, and if you don't return that scroll to me, I'm gonna kill all of you. And
Oh yeah, and then the servant that he enslaved with his mind, which was the security guard guy, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So then he snatches the scroll while it was happening. He was snatching the scroll, walks away with it, and I think he like replaced the burning paper instead of the scroll going in the fire. He throws some office work papers into the fire. So then, if they did try to look for the scroll, they would think it's burning because the papers are already on fire,
Right.
and they hid it away. It makes no sense why he would do that if the servant already had the scroll.
Right.
Could have got away with it.
Probably just trying to be too smart, but ended up being his downfall. So
Yeah.
then we discover that Ardith is making her Helen rather weaker. Every time she would not go to him, he would just make her too weak. So she goes to him and visits him, and then he's like, "Yes, I will show you your past. We used to be a couple. I loved you, and I committed literal crimes against the gods so I could be with you forever, because you died." And then he showed her all this, and she was like, "Yes, I remember, but I don't really care that much. I'm leaving now." And then she goes back to Frank's house, and Frank's like, "Well, I just love you so much. I met you last night, but I just love you so much, baby. I love you. I tell you what, I love you so much, right?" And
Yeah.
it's just so weird. That guy's
That
just weird.
This is when I started feeling sleepy because it got more quiet. It's weird. They started adding the music when they started doing like dream walking thing where they showcase the past or anything involving the mummy. Is when they start playing dramatic music like ooh, it's about to get real. Ooh, the music going on, and then I'm like, they should have added some of this music when they're introducing the money, like the mummy, because then you would have had at least like a good intro to the movie, so you have a little bit of energy to plow through this stuff. But nah, it was just quiet all the way until like the mummy starts doing weird shit like magic, and I think like near the ending, how did they kill the mummy? They just burn his stuff, right, and he dies.
So what happened was Helen goes to him in the museum, and she's wearing the. He puts her in this outfit. It's like really
Yeah,
weird. It's like a bra, but not really, because it's like just nipples are covered, and then she's got like a metal back piece or something. It's really weird. He puts her in the outfit, and he's like, okay. She's like, okay, I'll be with you. And he's like, cool. Now I have to kill you and insert your soul into this body. And she was like, we're not doing that. I used to love you. And he was like, I did this 1,000 years ago, and you can't even do this for me now. What is wrong with you? And then he was about to stab her, and she went to like the statue of Isis, and she was like, please, please help me. I will do whatever it takes for you not to kill me. I will please the gods. And then the Isis statue was like, you know, and burned the
oh yeah,
paper.
oh
And then David and his dad got there or whatever, but they're pretty much useless. They kind of just stood there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's pretty much how he got defeated. And then after that, obviously, he became a mummy again, and then the end.
yeah. As the mummy's powers was pretty interesting. I didn't know he could like kill people from not even being in the room. He just does some Death Note thing where he's like,
Right.
crushing people's hearts.
I think I think the Mummy has like really cool abilities. Obviously, this is 1932, so they couldn't like do like really cool stuff. But like if they made a true Mummy remake today, it would be sick. He has all these sick powers of like mind control and like crushing people's hearts with his dark arts and stuff. Cause like even me, I thought a mummy was just a dude in rags and mummy.
Yeah,
But
like
he
almost like a dry zombie.
exactly. But he's got like mummies apparently have these cool abilities, so we get a true mummy remake. We got to see some of these abilities. But as far as this film goes, 1932 Mummy, keeping it in account that this movie was in 1932, I'm being a little bit fair, but I'm also gonna be like completely honest. Out of eight, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna be fair because it's 1932. I'll give it three. 3 out of 8. What would you give it, Dandy?
I really like the scenes where the mummy walks around. I really wish that the mummy did more magic
Mm-hmm.
because in Egyptian lore they could do way more.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, I would give it like a 4 because they at least have like they at least showed off some magic because some people they just treat it like a zombie. So I like this idea of the first mummy movie being like decent and like because it's a good foundation. That was a good
Right.
foundation
It's
for it.
fantastic foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I feel like the other films that came after it was like um kind of good afterwards because they had a good startup.
Right.
Without the startup being decent like this, showing off how crazy the mummy is at that time period, it was pretty good. Yeah, I'll do like a 4 out of 8 slices.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody. That's it. Thank you. And oh, actually, before I end this off for you guys, I got this one thing for you guys. Um, do you guys know about Kenya? Can you fit both these balls in your mouth? And we out of here.